We are willingly posting daily updates about what we're doing.
A lot of the apps that we use on smartphones are designed to be addictive. And there are actually people out there putting news in our news feeds that are actually designed to upset us.
On social media, we're surrounded by people and companies consciously and subconsciously telling us that we need to be someone we're not, that we need to believe a certain thing, buy a certain product, feel or love a certain way and speak our minds, but make sure we're not too outspoken because that's not socially acceptable. Representation online is still not as good as it should be. We're taught from a young age that we need to glow up to be attractive, and that who we are right now isn't good enough to meet the social standards that we're presented with, that we're unlovable if we don't meet these standards, that taking a certain pill, changing our physical appearance, or using a certain product will make us a better person. Well, here's why society is making you question who you really are. Hi, welcome to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a kind of sit down podcast style video. I haven't done one of these in a while and I have been promising it for a long time now. It's been a while. I wanted to start off these chatty podcast videos with more of a serious topic that really means a lot to me. In this video, I'm going to be covering the topics of self-confidence, social media, social pressure, mental health. As you can tell, this is a very chill chat. I'm just sat here in my dressing gown, living my best life. Anyway, welcome to my channel if you're new. I hope to do a lot more of these in the future, so please stick around by subscribing. So when I was in year 11, I created a short film called Flaws and Perfection. Some of you may have seen it if you've been around my channel since then. Props to you if you have, it was a long time ago. One of the questions that I asked in that video has really stuck with me since creating it. I'm going to read it off here so I don't get it wrong. But the question was, do you remember who you were before the world told you who you should be? And honestly, no, I don't. I think social media has become such a huge part of our lives now that we literally can't imagine a life without it. Which is honestly heartbreaking because when I was younger, we didn't have social media, we didn't have that pressure put on us from a very, very young age, which was nice. And I'm not saying like I'm really old, because I'm not, but I remember what it was like without social media, whereas I feel like a lot of children nowadays don't remember what it was like. I feel like if I had grew up around social media as it is today, I would be a completely different person. I wouldn't know who I was. I wouldn't feel a certain way, I wouldn't think a certain way because I'd be so influenced by the people around me. So my main kind of message with this video is that everything you see online is people's highlight reels. I don't show a lot of my lowlights, however, I do like to keep it real on my channel. I'm not the kind of person to be like, hi, my life is perfect, because it's not, and that's the truth of it. Nobody's life is perfect. We are all human, and we have good and bad days, and that is totally fine. I think it's impossible to tell whether me growing up through my teenage years would have been better if I didn't have social media versus the fact that I did. However, I do feel like it would have been better for me not to be on social media, or for me not to necessarily follow certain accounts. Now, Instagram have brought in a thing recently which I think is brilliant. I'm going to get up the article so I don't get it wrong. Bear with. I'm reading off of the BBC News article. I will link it down below if you want to read more. This is something that I'm going to be kind of doing a lot in my podcast, is referencing different things, because I feel like it's important to talk about what is out there, what is kind of fake, what is real, you know. And if you have any other topics that you want me to talk about other than the one I'm covering today, please let me know in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. So this article in particular says Instagram clamps down on diet and cosmetic surgery posts. Now it says that some posts will be hidden from under 18s, while others promoting miraculous weight loss products will be removed from the actual app itself. I think this is the biggest change that Instagram have made in terms of changing their platform for the better. I think it's very easy to look at a platform and blame the actual platform. However, it is the people on it and it is what's being promoted on the platform. So I'm glad that they have kind of cut that down so that under 18s cannot see it. Because I think it is very detrimental, and I know it was to me while I was growing up. The teenage years of someone's life are the kind of stage where you develop your sense of self. You develop who you think you are, you develop how you feel, who you love, etc. And I feel like that is something that is really, really important. I think social media has played a large role in a lot of people's lives. Some positive, some negative, some people, mixture of both. When I was in my early teens, I used like YouTube as kind of an escape. I would watch YouTube and it would help me with my mental health. It really did help me at the time. However, I feel like if I was 12-year-old me right now looking at YouTube, I feel like even though there are way more resources than there were back then, I feel like there's still not that kind of, oh, this is something that's common. It's shared a lot on social media, but not necessarily in the right ways, which is why, I want to bring more positivity to my channel. I want to make sure that everybody feels at home here. So yeah, hi. If you're sat there with your cup of tea, this is what I do when I listen to podcasts. I sit there with like a little cup of hot chocolate and a biscuit. Yeah. Anyway, to me, social media has been full of positives because obviously I have my channel, which has honestly helped me in so many ways. My confidence has grown massively since having my channel. It's really helped me find similar people. I've made so many friends, and that is a massive plus of social media. However, there are obviously negative sides to putting my life online, but I understand that is my choice. I chose to put myself online. Hate, for example, I'm very lucky that I don't get that much hate. This isn't an invitation to hate, leave a comment. I do know some of my friends who have been targeted with large amounts of hate, and it's been very unbearable for them. I think hate is such a big thing online, and cancel culture has just blown up over the past couple of years. And I just wonder sometimes, like, what if I logged off 5 years ago and like lived some of my teenage years offline? Even if I came back to do this, even if I came back to do anything online, I wonder what would have been different if during school I was off social media. Because for me, social media was a place where people could target me. It was a place that I felt very vulnerable. Now I don't feel as vulnerable. Obviously, I know I'm putting myself out there, and I've grown in confidence and everything, so I am a completely different person to who I was. But I don't feel as vulnerable on social media anymore because I've managed to make my section of social media very positive, very happy for me, and my kind of little happy place, But it was once somewhere that I felt very unsafe. So I do look back and wonder, like, what if I did really live my life like offline? Like, would I have struggled so much with my body image? Would I have struggled so much with comparing myself to other girls in my year, or other friends, or other people's personalities? I feel like it would have helped me. But also, I did gain it a lot during my like teenage years at school, because I was watching YouTube and learning and finding out things and finding different ways to do things that made things easier for me. I found other people who suffered from anxiety, which made me feel less alone, and that was so important to me. So maybe it would have been better if I, didn't. I don't know. Anyway, the thing is, because we're so used to comparison, it's kind of become the default to, when we look at somebody's photo, compare ourselves to them. And I think that is something that's very, very toxic. I recently unfollowed a lot of people that I either compare myself to or post photos that make me feel uncomfortable or make me feel like really self-conscious. It's great now because you can mute people on Instagram. So if you don't want to actually unfollow somebody, you can mute them, which is just as great. So yeah. That is a solution. If there's people in your year, you're like, I just don't want to see your posts, you can mute them without them knowing, so it's absolutely fine. A lot of people are very hesitant at the fact of taking a break from social media because it's such a big thing. Like, there's so many things being updated, people talk about it all the time, that we're afraid to take a break in case we miss out on something that's really, people are going to forget in a week. Scrolling and constantly being updated with what other people are doing is so unhealthy, but it's unfortunately become part of our daily routines, which is really sad. Honestly, I do my best when I wake up to try not to go on social media straight away. I try to have my breakfast, get out of bed, do something different than social media, because otherwise my whole day is consumed with social media, which is weird because once my days were literally, social media was nowhere. I wasn't on social media, I didn't do social media, anything. So it's weird that now, a few years later, I am now almost addicted to it. People post what they want others to see. And and that's not necessarily the truth. A lot of the time it is not. You see really beautiful photos from amazing places, and it looks incredible, but what you don't realize is those photos are edited. They are made to look incredible because that person is, say, an editor or a photographer. Nothing anymore is quite as real as it used to be. So these things right here, our phones, are literally our addiction. A temporary fix to our feelings, or something like stress or school or family life. We use our phones as a temporary fix. If you're in an awkward situation, what do? You pick up your phone, you look, you scroll through Instagram, you text your friend. It's always a temporary fix to a problem that you are feeling or an emotion you're feeling. And for me, this is something that I've realized over the past few months, is that when I feel anxious, when I feel nervous in a situation, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what do? I reach for my phone, which is kind of weird because it's literally, this is it. I'm reaching for my phone, but I really don't get anything from it. I don't get anything back from it. It's a temporary, okay, well, I'm looking at my phone, they're not looking at me, but then I have to face that at a later time. I think that is something that is so common. Like, sometimes when people want to get out of a situation, they pretend they're on the phone, or they pretend that they're texting somebody or listening to music. And it's totally normal. Everybody does it. It's also very toxic. And that is why sometimes I kind of try to take breaks from my phone. When I'm out with people, I'm rarely on my phone. When I'm being sociable with like family and friends, I'm not on my phone, I'm not scrolling through, I'm not texting somebody else, because it's rude, for one. If you're with somebody, spend time with them, because time is not something you can get back. Stay in the moment, it's very important. I think some people use social media to influence in a very positive way. However, some people like influence with this kind of overruling power, and like this power to manipulate an audience into believing what they believe or buying what they love, thinking really that they're less worthy if they don't have what this certain influencer has, or if their life isn't as perfect as this influencer's Instagram makes it seem. I'm the kind of person, I don't take advantage of what I have. My friends, I don't take advantage of them. This channel, I don't take advantage of you. I know most of you are teenagers or young adults like me, who perhaps don't have loads of money to spend on hoodies that are very overpriced purely for the sake of a profit. I found a quote the other day, and I just thought I would read it to you because it really stuck with me. It really made me think, and it made me kind of be like, whoa, like, yeah, that's kind of true, The reason why we struggle with insecurity is because we're taught to compare our behind the scenes with everybody else's highlight reel. This is something that really resonates with me. We go onto Instagram and we see somebody's story. They're out, say, for the day with their friends. They're not going to post an argument that they had with their friend, because that way they won't look perfect to the world. Obviously, I think keeping a very definitive line between your personal and public life is very important. I have my private life with my friends and my family. Most of my friends you've never seen, most of my family you've never seen, purely for the fact that I choose to put myself online, but other people in my life, they don't want to be online, or they prefer not to be. And that's totally okay, because everybody's different, everybody has different priorities. I think a lot of the time those lines are blurred, and people do kind of share a lot more of their private life, which can kind of open you up to a lot more criticism, especially if you have an online following. I'm very careful with who I put on my channel. I'm very careful with how I present people on my channel, how I present myself on my channel. I like to present myself as I am. I try to keep my channel as positive as possible, as motivational, keep it positive, but I do want to keep it real too. Hence why I'm starting to do these videos now, because I think they're really important. I think it's important to share my views, because I feel like I've never done that really on my channel. I feel like I've kind of sat on the fence for a long time. I don't speak out about these big drama things because it's not really my place to, for one. And also there are so many drama channels who talk about it anyway. However, I want to start sharing my opinions. I have a few questions, because I want you to go away from this video actually thinking about something. I want you to go away thinking like, oh, well, like, wow, that kind of like made me think or made me realize that maybe what I'm doing isn't exactly healthy. How many times have you decided not to post a photo because of what a friend, a love interest, or even a stranger may think of you if you did? Maybe you didn't post a singing video as you were afraid you weren't good enough. Maybe you wanted to post a swimsuit picture but backed out last minute, wondering why that summer body was acceptable enough to your followers. And how many times have you taken a photo purposely to share your highlights to others, to show off or present your life as more perfect as it is? Or have you actually been honest and shared the positive and the negative? By this, I'm not saying literally go pour your heart out to all of the people who follow you. I'm just saying be more realistic. There's no need to fake things online because life is real. Life is not online. We are real people at the moment. Might change in a few years. I don't know what science has to offer. We are real people, and that's not going to change in the foreseeable future. You've got to kind of realize, like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I presenting myself to be this person? Why am I not showing the outtakes of my photos that perhaps to me are not as attractive? If a stranger comes across your profile, sees your photos, why should you care what they think? They're a stranger. Their opinion doesn't define you. You should only really take in opinions from the people who you trust, so your close friends and family. I think the people who love you will always be honest with you. If you take anything away from this video, please be kind to other people and be kind to yourself too, because I know it's very difficult to not be kind to yourself, especially in today. So I asked you on Instagram earlier today to send me over any questions you had about this overarching topic, because I kind of wanted to talk about it in a bit more detail. But before I get into that, I just want to go through what the thumbnail says. You don't need to glow up. I've fallen for this. I've posted like glow up videos because they were a trend, and I was like, oh, this looks like kind of fun. But little did I realize really what they were actually promoting that you need to glow up. You need to, be different to who you are, just to be beautiful. And that's not true at all. To me personally, I think being unique is the most beautiful thing you can be, which sounds so cringe, but I think it's true. What's the point in trying to be exactly like a celebrity that you love and loads of other people love, because they already exist? Why don't you be yourself? If you're a musician, create music that you love, not that your friends love. Don't create music for other people to listen to, create it for yourself. And then if other people like it, brilliant. If not, that's all right too. That's the same with YouTube. That's the harsh reality of doing something like this, is that it's very unstable. You never know what could happen tomorrow. My channel could blow up. It could be deleted. I don't know. We'll find out. I know I have filmed for quite a long time, so I'm sorry if this video is really, really long. I just think it's important to have a chill chat about something that I feel really passionate about. A lot of the questions have been related to mental health and how to overcome it, or how to feel like you're not any less because you have a mental health disorder. Now, this is something that I've had experience with. I am diagnosed with anxiety and a couple of other things relating to anxiety. I really suffered with anxiety at the beginning because I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how I was feeling. I didn't know anybody else who was feeling the way I was. And it was scary. It was honestly very scary. I think there are a lot more resources now than there were when I was younger, which is brilliant. But there's also a lot more fake information. I think it's always best to go and see somebody and properly talk. I know some places in the UK have free counselling. I think the whole stigma around mental illness is that it is a negative and you should be ashamed of it, and people will be like, oh, that's the one with that mental health disorder. But I honestly disagree. I think for me personally, having anxiety hasn't been so much of a weakness, but it's kind of shown me my strength, which again sounds really cringe, but it's true. I honestly wouldn't know how strong I was unless I suffered with what I have. Even though it's a horrible thing to live with and it's a horrible thing to have to deal with, it's something that makes me, and it has shaped me into the person I am. I wouldn't be as knowledgeable on mental health as I am now if I haven't suffered with it myself. I think mental disorders are very stigmatized, which is a really big shame, because I think we could make something so much more positive about that. One thing that I do want to put out there in this video is a few links or telephone numbers you can call if you need to. They will all be listed in the description box or on screen now. So please, if you are struggling, call someone, email, even if it's just visiting a website, reading through things. Another thing that really helps me is quotes. Now, again, another kind of, oh, that's so cringe, but it's really true. And I think quotes are something that are written by somebody else. And if you relate to it, it's somebody that you can relate to, and you feel like you can relate to something that somebody else is feeling, that you're less alone. One particular writer that I absolutely love is Harper Nichols. I will link her Instagram in the description, and I will put a couple of her quotes on the screen right now. I feel like I really relate to her quotes, and it really has helped me through what I've been through. Sometimes it's just finding that one person or that one thing that makes you feel okay. That's what helps you get through stuff. No matter what you're going through, there is always going to be a time where you don't feel as bad as you do right now, and you look back and you're like, why did I not think I was going to get through this? Because believe me, when I was doing my GCSE exams, I was not doing well. And I got through those exams, and yeah, I might not have got all 9s, I might not have got all A stars, but I did well because I got through them, and that was the main thing for me. You are you for the rest of your life. You're not going to change, so you may as well be yourself and love yourself for who you are before you lose yourself. I think social media can really make you question yourself, whether that's with body image or mental health or anything. It can really make you question things. But just remember that what you see online is not always the truth. Even if it is the truth, it might not be everything. You know a very small percentage of people's lives. You know that tiny little bit of their life that they've decided to share with you. They haven't shared the other massive chunk that they have in their brain. So just keep that in mind when you're talking to people. You don't know everything that's going on. A lot of people have mentioned body confidence. So for example, how do you combat not feeling comfortable in your own body around other people? I don't like looking in the mirror because of my stomach. What can I do to fix that? How to feel comfortable with your appearance. Now, I will have put a trigger warning before I actually talk about this because I understand it is a very sensitive topic. Body image, it is something that we all struggle with, and I guarantee you every single person you pass in the street has struggled with how they look, how they feel, who they love, everything. Everybody has struggled with something. So please don't think that you're the only one that feels bad about yourself, because you're not. I promise you that. I think it's very easy to assume that everybody else feels so confident and is really happy in themselves. But it's really not true. A lot of people aren't happy with themselves, and that's a real shame, and I feel like social media is partly to blame for that. Combating how you feel is you just got to realize you are stuck with you for the rest of your life. Would you rather spend your life hating yourself and picking out every single insecurity, or would you rather spend your life feeling good about yourself, feeling great about your body, feeling good when you're around other people in social situations in the nicest way possible? You cannot expect things to change unless you change them. You're the only person who can make yourself feel confident. I would say you've got to realize that everybody has insecurities. Everybody does. For example, I don't like the way I look from this side because of my teeth. I have a gap in my teeth and one of them slightly in front of the other. However, I have kind of accepted that. I've said, look, you know what? I can't change this half of my face unless I pay loads of money to have it changed, which I do not want to do. Because I'm me. I'm not born to be a clone of somebody else. I'm born to be me. And I think once you realize, look, I'm here. I'm me. Why have I wasted so much time hating who I am because I'm scared of what other people think of me? I know this kind of thing is very difficult, and the way I'm speaking about it makes it seem like it's very easy to love yourself. I know that it's not, and I know that it's a very long process. However, I do think it is achievable to go from hating yourself to loving yourself. Most of the photos you see online, on magazines, on billboards, anything, it's airbrushed or their skin is smoothed out. You do not compare to another human being at all, no matter who they are, what they are to you, how good they are in class, or how many subscribers they have, how many followers they have. Nobody is any better than anybody else. And I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with. I think it's very easy to put other people above yourself without actually realizing, you know what, I'm great as I am. I know I've been recording for a very, very long time. I'm sorry if I didn't answer your question. I'm probably going to be doing a Q&A very, very soon. So follow me over on Instagram if you would like to be involved with that. I really appreciate that. And, you know, maybe your question will be answered. I really hope that you can take something away from this video and maybe even come back and watch it in a few months and realize how far you've come. So I'm going to end this video with a pre-written question. What would you do? Who would you be? And would you even post if nobody was watching? Now, just think about that for a bit. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. I really do appreciate you supporting my channel. Please subscribe if you're new to see more of my future content. I work very, very hard on my videos and I would really, really appreciate it. I hope you have a great day and please prioritize your mental health. Love yourself. Yeah, I'll see you soon.